In this video, we're going to discuss a few things that can help first-time homebuyers get into the market. And to start, let's talk about some government subsidy, government programs. Sheldon? I know. Boring.
Government programs. I got a little sleepy there.
Yeah,
But
I know.
They actually can be quite helpful. Now, there's two that we're going to focus in on. One that is more desirable than the other, in my opinion. We'll talk about the federal program first. So the federal government is eager to get involved in ownership of your home. They position it as wanting to help first-time homebuyers buy their first home. They will lend you up to 5 or 10% of your first home or new construction. You have 25 years to pay that back, which is pretty good. However, they are now a part owner in your home, and as your equity increases, their ownership increases along with that. So they're being involved in the profitability of your home. So that one is not...
But no upfront cost.
No upfront cost.
Yeah.
It's interest-free, so it wouldn't be the number one option I would recommend to everybody, but everybody's situation is different, and with all things financial, there is no blanket information we should give anyone. So that may make some sense for some people. In Nova Scotia, we're fortunate enough that we do have a program that I think is a little bit better. They will give you an interest-free loan that they don't have any ownership in the home. They're not taking part in the equity or the profitability and the benefits of home value increase over time.
Yeah.
And you've got 10 years to pay that back, which they'll give you up to $15,000, up to a purchase of a home of $300,000 within HRM.
Right.
If it's outside of HRM, the maximum home purchase value is $200,000. And like I say, interest-free loan, and you have 10 years to pay it back. So it's a pretty long time for that modest amount. It would be pretty feasible, I think, for most people to be able to get in. And I should mention, along with the government programs, I'm going to quickly segue this extra piece in, is there are a couple lenders out there that will give you the down payment. So if you can't, for some reason, qualify for these government programs because you maybe have a little bit more income than they allow, you can still consider getting into the market more quickly without taking the time to save up the down payment by going to one of these lenders that will give you cash back for your down payment. Now, it is built into the interest rate, but who cares? You're just paying for the down payment.
That's right.
Doesn't mean it's a bad rate. It just means you're doing that to pay back the down payment to that institution. So it's a pretty good way. And I've gotten actually quite a few clients that didn't think that home ownership was on the horizon into some pretty beautiful homes pretty quickly. So they were often on the outskirts of town.
Yeah. Sounds pretty reasonable, I mean, So I know I said upfront cost on that first one. It's not really an upfront cost. It's just that with that first federal program, there's literally no extra money coming out of your pocket to pay back that loan because it comes out of the sale of the house, or if you refinance.
Yes, and so I should clarify that point. If you sell the home, for the first program, you've got 25 years to pay it back. If you sell the home or refinance, then they want you to pay it back. And then if you sell the home or refinance for the Nova Scotia one, you should also be paying it back at that time as well.
If it hasn't been paid off already.
Yes.
So that one is a monthly bill payment, I guess.
And it's
for lack
flexible.
of a better description.
You can pay it off aggressively, or you can take the full amortization of what that money would be over 10 years.
Right, okay. But it will always be it'll be that fixed amount, whatever you borrowed for the down payment.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It won't increase with the value of your home.
Not for the Nova Scotia one, only for the federal.
Right. Great. Also, the cashback programs for some of those lenders. In order to get more information on that, you're going to have to call this guy to get that because we can't share all
24
of our
hours a day,
secrets.
902-440-2663 or Sheldon.B at gembafinance.com. Gemba is spelled G-E-M like Mary, B like Bob, A.
Yeah, if I don't get a text from him the next morning that he got a phone call at 3 a.m., then somebody is not listening to our video or watching our video. You watch videos, I'm sorry.
And I won't even sound asleep. I'll just sound like I had a big smile on my face, crunching numbers on a calculator, waiting to do your pre-qualification.
Great. Well, so one of the next tips for our first-time home buyers to getting into the market is considering buying outside of the city. So again, talking about soaring average or house prices, one of the most concentrated areas for those huge price increases is actually in and around the peninsula, just off on the mainland, like Fairview, Clayton Park, Armdale areas, even downtown Dartmouth, Bedford, areas like that. That's where we're seeing the significant increases in average purchase price in the market. So, if you're sitting here with a $400,000 budget, and you want to be on the peninsula, quite honestly, that's going to be really hard to do. So things you need to consider is, do I need to be right downtown? Do I need to be in the heart of things? Take a look at what is important to you in your life and consider buying outside of the city a little bit further, a little bit of a commute. Really, 30 minutes, 45 minutes? There's lots of great cities and towns that are close by on major highways that can get you into Halifax in a quick way.
Yeah, and you're also asking the question to yourself, do I need to be downtown right away? Because maybe you do want to be downtown,
yeah.
But remember, we want to take things as they make sense, and there's going to be stepping stones. So you're ultimately going to have one of two stepping stones if you don't have the affordability to move downtown right away. Be at peace with and be happy with the fact that you can still get in the market buying on the outskirts. Mm-hmm. You can, eventually, you're either going to have a stepping stone of renting for longer,
yep,
or making some of those compromises to get into the market more quickly, build up equity, because those houses on the outskirts, yep, are still increasing greatly as that, yep, downtown saturates and, yep, the prices are going up, all of these areas around. So you're still going to be moving into a place on the outskirts where you're getting good value, you're building up that equity, not just by paying down the mortgage, by the market increasing, yeah, on those areas as well.
And what does your rental payment do? Pays
Nothing.
Down somebody else's mortgage.
Nothing.
That's what it does.
So it's either you're going to, yeah, rent, you're going to, take a stepping stone, or maybe the only other really options are, I guess, try to get rich on Bitcoin or a pyramid scheme. Which I don't recommend.
No, I don't recommend that either. Not at all.
Punchline is, the house is the better option. Buying on the outskirts is the best option here.
Yeah. And to round out our conversation about some tips for buyers to get into the market now as opposed to later, is talking about buying a home that maybe needs a little bit of work. I think there's a huge misconception out there about buying a home that needs some minor renovations. When buyers walk into a home that hasn't been recently renovated, they think immediately, oh my God, that wall's gotta go, that wall's gotta go, I gotta put new cabinets in, I got fresh coat of paint everywhere, new floors, that carpet's gotta come up. And honestly, that's just not the case. You can do a little bit of work to really refresh the house, and then in 5 years, after you build some equity, you can use that to dump back in and then continue your renovations from there. The reality is, new floors or fresh carpet, laminate, it's not that expensive. A fresh coat of paint on the walls, it's not that expensive either. Paint your cabinets in your kitchen, you don't have to replace them, or even something as simple as replacing your, what is that?
A plug.
No, not plug. On your cabinets. Handles.
Doorknobs.
Doorknobs, handles. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So, and it's a good point. look, 5 minutes, what I was able to do aesthetically with this old rundown body.
Yeah.
And
look at you.
You've all watched these property shows. You all want to be the cool person, yeah, like the Property Brothers, and you're going in there being creative. But the important thing is, you just need a good structure. You don't want a cracked foundation. Get a good structure, and the world is your oyster. You can start to create something in your dream home, and you're gonna get some really good return on the value of your dollar, yeah, when you're doing that. And of course, we've got the Purchase Plus improvements.
That's right.
Where the banks will give you a certain percentage. It differs slightly between banks. I think the minimum is 10% they'll give you. So if you buy a house, as an example, for $100,000, they'll give you an additional $10,000 for renovations. You do have to pay for those out of pocket, maybe use a line of credit or some savings. And then once you've completed those, had them inspected, you submit that over to the bank, and they'll give you those funds on your mortgage, and now you're paying that off over 30 years.
Yeah, it's a great rebate.
Years.
It's a great rebate program, pretty much, essentially, is what that is.
It's a good deal, and it lets you go in, and usually, you have a little bit of creativity and renovations that you want to do into any home that you're purchasing anyhow.
Yeah.
So now you can really make it your own, and you're going to bring that dollar a little bit further.
And you don't have to do everything all at once. You can do things in phases as well. Like I said, buying a house on the market that needs a little bit of love versus the pretty home is going to save you a lot of money. But as soon as you invest that money into that home that needs a little bit of love, it's going to increase your value a lot.
And that's what a lot of these people are even doing before they sell their home anyways. They're spending a little bit of money on those aesthetics. You come in, you think it's brand new, fancy renovated, but they've really just touched up, painted, put some baseboards.
Yeah.
You know, they're not always spending a fortune to do those renovations before they sell you that home at that, you know, really increased price. So
Yeah.
why not take advantage of doing that yourself perhaps and getting the market a little
But
bit
it's
earlier.
pretty, it's trendy, it's updated, and so those houses always sell for much, much more than the house that hasn't been updated, that
100%.
doesn't have the trendy finishes and stuff like that.
Indeed.
So, some great tips today. Remember, consider buying outside of the city if you don't need to be in the city. Consider buying a house that needs some TLC. And also remember that there are some great government subsidies out there that help first-time home buyers with their down payments on their house.
But there's only one way that they can move on these things, take advantage, learn, and get into that home.
What?
And that's calling Adam 24 hours a day at 1-800-ADAM or me at 902-440-2663. Adam's 24 hours a day is 9 to 5. Mine is 25 hours a day.
Where does that 25th hour come from?
I find it somewhere.
Yeah, again, if I don't get a text message from Sheldon the next morning at like 9 a.m. that he didn't get a call at 3 a.m. or a text message, then nobody's watching our video. Well, I'm going to call this 1-800-ADAM and see where it goes.
I'm going to call 1-900-ADAM and see where that goes.
I know where that one goes.
$5.99 a minute.
$5.99 a minute?
Well, I don't know if it was $5.99 or $500.99.
That's better. That sounds more like me. I'm premium grade.